What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody, and welcome to another live stream, winning in your interview. Let me turn this around. This is a live stream, and the purpose behind this live stream is to help you win in your interview so you get jobs faster. Today, I am going to be discussing a topic that I think, I get so many questions on a daily basis about this. I want to make sure that I am answering this so that people can get the answers that they need. My goal is to help you win in your interview, okay? And you're getting rejections and people are not hiring you and they are not telling you why. Nobody's telling you why they are not hiring you, why they're rejecting you. You know you're qualified. You know you have the skill, the experience, the education, the background. You know it, but they're not hiring you. How you doing, Quiet Storm? How you doing, Eric? You know it, but they're not hiring you. Why? And then you get the dreaded, I've interviewed you, you look great, things are awesome, but you're overqualified. Like, what does that even mean, right? Well, I'm going to tell you what that means, and I'm going to explain to you why it happens. So if you're trying to get your foot back into the door, maybe you're taking a couple of steps down in a position to get your foot in the door, or maybe you have a ton of experience, right? And they say to you, you are overqualified. Like, what does that even mean? When a hiring manager tells me that, I know exactly what they mean, okay? So they're responding from a place of fear, and I'm gonna explain that to you in just a second. So I'm gonna ask all of you to please tap the screen, so the hearts, share this live stream with all of your friends on your page. If you're on YouTube, tap the screen, click like. If you want to join me live, you can click the button at the bottom to join me live. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section and I'll answer your question live as well. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all of this information so you can get the job you want faster. What are these hiring managers doing? Why are they saying these things? Why am I not getting hired when I know I can do the job? I have been doing the job. I know I have the experience. Why are they not hiring me? I'm going to tell you why. Why do hiring managers say you are overqualified? What does that mean? Okay, I'm overqualified. You just asked me a question. I answered the question and told you exactly, gave you the right answer. You talked about a problem you needed fixed. I told you how I would fix that problem. I gave you all of the right information. And then the recruiter calls me and says, well, they decided to go with another candidate because they think that you are overqualified. And I'm like, Johnny manager, like, what does that even mean, overqualified? Well, I know what that means when they say that. So what I try to do whenever I talk to a candidate that is very experienced is I try to prep them so they can avoid getting the dreaded, I don't want to bring them in because they're overqualified. Now, the hiring manager gets interview notes. They see the resume. They should know whether or not they think the person is overqualified. But they take you through this whole process of being interviewed. You spend your time, your money, your resources getting up there to the job site or doing an interview online, only for them to tell you after a 30-minute or 1 hour interview that this person is not someone that I want to continue with, because you know what? They have way too much experience for me. Well, what do they mean? Okay. So before I give the answer, a couple things. If you need help with your resume, right? You want somebody to review your resume. The choices you have is you can go to some resume writing company that might charge you $200 to $500 or whatever they charge to review your resume and rewrite it. If you send your resume to me, I'll take a look at it for free. I'll tell you I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I'm going to tell you whether it's good or not. I'll give you my honest opinion. You can send it to coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. So if you're applying to jobs, but no one is calling you back for an interview, it's probably because of your resume. If you want me to review your resume, simply send it to coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. I'll review it and give you my honest feedback, good, bad, and ugly. If you want to create a resume that is super good, that can really get the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, you can click the link in my bio and get the resume template. It's just $19.99, and the price is going to be going up in September. So if you need to get your resume revamped and you want it to be something that attracts a guy like me, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've looked at more than 500,000 resumes in my career. I can look at a resume and in 8 seconds, 9 seconds, I can tell you if a candidate is qualified or not. And so I created this template so that over the course of the first 4 sections of your resume, the first 3/4 of your page, it tells everybody how awesome you are. Okay, so get that resume template. If you need more in-depth help, you're just struggling about which direction to go in terms of your career, you can click the link in my bio and schedule a one-on-one with me. I'll be happy to do that. I'll do them in 30-minute segments. And lastly, the last thing is, if this content is helpful to you, you're saying, you know what, that has helped me to get a job, that has helped me understand X, Y, or Z, and you want to donate, just give a gift, you can click the link in my bio and send the cash out. That's it. So listen, you interview with the manager, you send your resume. Okay, we talked about this on the last live stream. You see a job, you apply for it. Okay, you fill out the application. It gets into the ATS or it goes to a recruiter or a hiring manager. They see your resume. They like it. The recruiter calls you back and they'll do a pre-screen, right? That recruiter finds out all of your information. They put it in, they should be doing this. They put it in a note form and they send it to the hiring manager along with your resume. And then the hiring manager sees the interview notes. They see your resume and they say, yes, I want to schedule an interview with this person. The recruiter or talent acquisition person schedules that interview. You go in, you're on time, you're looking sharp, you are totally prepared, you know about the company, you know everything. And you interview with the company and you think you have aced that interview. And 2 or 3 days later, sometimes the same day, you get a call from that recruiter or an email from that recruiter. Thank you so much for your time. We decided to move on or select another candidate. Or you talk to that recruiter and that recruiter tells you, well, the hiring manager likes you. They know you can do the job, but they just think you're overqualified. What do they mean? What are they saying? Okay, what they're saying is you have more experience than we need. Okay, that's what they're saying. Now, you would think that's a good thing. And in most cases, it is. Okay. You would think that's a good thing, but what the hiring manager is doing is they are showing you their fear. And here's what the fear is. I'm afraid that if I hire this person because of their skill and ability, if I hire them, they're not going to be here long. If they get another job offer in 3 months, 6 months, a year, they're going to leave. And I just don't want to go through that. That's what they're thinking. So when a hiring manager says you are overqualified, they're thinking you're not going to be around long. Okay? Well, how do you rectify that? I'm not saying dumb yourself down, but you have to share less information. Okay? If you are a senior level candidate or a person who is, supremely qualified for a job, you have to understand this. The only thing a hiring manager cares about is your ability to solve their specific problem, not all of the problems that you solve for everybody else. Those things are important, but the only thing they truly, truly, truly care about is what are you going to be able to do for me, right? That's what they care about most. And if you overshare information, overshare it, they are probably going to reject you, not because you can't do the job, but because they think you are not going to stay with the company long, and they will be right back in the same boat 6 months from now. Okay? That's when they come back to me and my team and say, Dan, can you send me more candidates? I will then ask them what was wrong with this one. And they will say, well, they have a lot of experience. They're overqualified for the job. I know what that means. That means you overshared information in the interview. Okay? They needed you to count to 10 and you counted to 10,000. All right? So you overshared. So I always caution people, listen to the question that the hiring manager is asking you and give them the answer to that question only. Don't overshare, because if you overshare, you run the risk of a hiring manager saying you are overqualified. Now, there are times when hiring managers will want you to expand on your experience, and that's cool. Do that, right? But don't overshare, because when you do, that is going to get you in trouble every single time. I promise you that. So that's what they mean when they say you are overqualified. That's what they mean. So how do you deal with that? Again, your resume already shows everything. If you're using the resume template that I've created, it is already showing them how awesome you are. They can see, when they look at the resume that I have you create, they can see how good you are. Okay? There are 4 things every hiring manager, and by the way, if you want to join me live, you have a question, a specific question about what's going on with you, all you got to do is click down here and request to join up. If you have a question and you don't want to get on camera, just leave a question down here where the question mark is, and I'll answer your question live here on this live stream. Okay? Every hiring manager, for the most part, they're looking for 4 specific things. Okay? And I want to share with you what those 4 specific things are, because if you understand what those things are, the things they care about most, right? These are the 4 things that they care about most. If you understand what those things are, you are going to have an advantage over 99.9% of the people. Okay? I'm going to share that in just a second, but one of the other things that we talk about is pay. I want to make sure that I address that on most of the lives. How do you determine, if you have to fill out an application and it's asking you to put pay down, how do you determine what you should be putting down? Every position, if it has pay posted or not, has 3 levels: entry level, mid level, and senior level. Entry level is considered usually 0 to 2 years of experience. Okay. Mid level is going to be that 5 to 7 years of experience, 8 years. And senior level is going to be 10 years and above. So when you see pay that says $20 to $30 an hour, know that entry level is $20, mid-level is $25 an hour, and senior level is $30 an hour. So when you have to put information on an application, if you are a senior level individual, don't put $50 an hour, because that will usually let that hiring manager know, or the recruiter know, that they cannot meet your pay expectations. That's a qualifier. They can't meet your pay expectations, so they're not going to call you. They're going to reject you. They're going to say there were other candidates that were more qualified than you. Not qualified in skill, qualified in pay. So make sure you stick within that range. And I often tell people, if you're a senior individual or even an entry level or mid individual, you take that mid range plus 10%. So if it's $30 an hour, that's the senior, you put down, I'm looking to make $33 an hour. If it is a entry level person and it's $20 an hour, You put down, hey, I'm interested in making $22 an hour. Or in the case of a mid-level person, I'm looking to make, 27, 28 bucks an hour. Companies will usually accept that, right? But if you put down, I want to make $99 per hour in the position, max is $30 an hour, that will get you rejected, okay? If you don't have to list pay, I tell people all the time, you put on your application, I'm open. Why do I tell people to do that? This is strategic. Why do I tell people to put open? Even if the company has listed the pay, even if they list it, okay? You want to put I'm open because you want them to reveal to you what the pay range is, so you can then make a decision about whether or not you are interested in proceeding on in the process. Now, I tell people to do it this way because I want you to have the power. I know how to get the information out of you as a talent acquisition leader. Okay, I already know how to get it out of you. But if you're dealing with a recruiter or hiring manager and they are asking you the question, what kind of money you're looking to make, always say I'm open, so they are put in a position, where they have to reveal their hand and tell you, well, this position is paying $30 an hour. Would you accept the job as, with that range or with that rate, that pay, right? And then you have an opportunity to say yes or no. And if they don't meet your expectation, keep it moving. If they do, then you can accept the offer and keep going. I had a conversation earlier, one-on-one, with a person, and I wanted to really talk to you guys about something that I was sharing with this client of mine. Okay, and that is, how do you give yourself the best chances to get a call back from a recruiter? Right? You want to apply for jobs, but how far should I go back? How broad should I be? Where should I be looking? All those things, right? A lot of people, hey, I had my interview today. It went extremely well, and I interviewed with 2 people. I'll know something by Friday, and we'll keep you posted. Definitely made it customer service. Thank you, Chocolate Drop. I appreciate you sharing that information with me. I know you were on the live stream last night. If this is the same person, you were on the live stream last night, and you were talking to me about this position that you're interviewing for in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. And so I'm happy to hear that you followed that advice and that interview went well. Yes, please keep me posted. And here's the deal. Here's the deal, sis. If they don't call you back by 1 p.m. on Friday, you call them. Hey, I don't want to go into this Labor Day weekend without, some sort of information. Can you please let me know where we are in the process? Okay? Where are we in the process? I'm in your live streams always. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. And thank you guys so much for sharing the stream. And for all of you who are sending your resume over to CoachDanielSmiley@gmail.com for me to review, I am reviewing those resumes. I am looking at them, and I'm giving you my honest to God feedback. I'm telling you the truth. If your resume looks like who did it and ran away with it, I'm going to tell you the truth. If your resume is good, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'll explain to you the tweaks that you need to make. I don't charge anything for that. Please send your resume to me. I'll take a look at it, and I'll tell you if this is your barrier. This is the thing that's stopping you from getting interviewed. Okay. How you doing, Teddy from Hawaii? So the reason why I tell you to say I'm open, because I want you to maintain control. So many people feel like when they're interviewing for jobs that they don't have control. Like all of the control is in the hands of the hiring managers. I'm telling you, I know how to keep the control in your hands and make them almost run you down to want to offer you a job, right? Because I'm on this side of the fence, because I'm on the talent acquisition side, because my job is to bring good candidates to hiring managers and help those hiring managers hire good people so that we can have retention, so that we can have good workers, so that we can make money, so that we can be profitable. I'm on this side of the fence, and I'm sharing all of this information with you because I want you to have the power. 99% of people who go interview, and I use this arbitrary number, but most people who interview with jobs don't feel like they have control. I'm going to use this person that I spoke to last night on a live stream, if you don't mind. Chocolate, would you, I'm going to, if it's okay, leave it in the comments that it's okay for me to share this information that we talked about last night. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you what I share with her so she can be in control. Okay. So listen, so Chocolate Drop came on the live last night and she was telling me that she is moving from one state to another state and that she is a retail bank teller. Okay, that's what she told me. And she told me, I was asking her, tell me about what a retail bank teller do. What problem do they solve for organizations? And she started to tell me some things. Chocolate 44, thank you so much for purchasing a resume template. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Chocolate was telling me all about herself. And I stopped her in the middle of her sentence and I said, sister, let me tell you something. Those people don't care nothing about you. They don't. They don't want to know how confident and thorough and all that good stuff you are. What does a retail teller do? What problem do they solve, right? That's what you need to be communicating. And I helped her to understand that the job of a retail seller is to provide world-class customer service to the patrons of the bank. Why? Why is that important? Because if Chocolate is doing a great job with customer service, people are going to continue to come back. They're going to put their money in the bank. The bank can then use that money to loan to people to buy houses and cars so they can make interest off of the money. So the world-class customer service that Chocolate is providing helps that bank make money. If you don't communicate that in an interview, a hiring manager is not going to want to hire you. They need to know that you understand beyond a shadow of a doubt the exact specific particular problem you solve to help them do what they do. That's what you need to be doing. I understand as a talent acquisition manager, my job is to make sure the company I work for never, ever, ever has an issue hiring people, finding people, hiring people, getting good people in the door. That's my job. I'm good at that. And I understand that if I can hire people that are going to stay longer, it means the company has to spend less on turnover. They create cohesiveness and that team begins to grow better and they can use the profits from that team being better and not having to spend a lot of money on talent acquisition to grow and expand the business to make more money and so on and so forth. That's how it works. You got to know the problem that your job solves for an organization. Okay, so Michelle wants to come up. I'm going to give you an opportunity to come up and ask a question. So that's how it works. And that's the information that you need to be taking into every single interview. And if you are not taking that interview information into an interview, the chances of them giving you a job offer is not good. Now, son, Michelle, it declined you to join. Try again. You have to have a good internet connection. We can try again. If it doesn't work, you can leave your question in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay. So that's what I did for that young lady last night. I helped her to understand that, and she told me she had an interview today. I said, the only thing you need to talk about is the world-class customer service that you are going to provide to every single person who walks in that bank. They are going to want to come to you every Friday and see you. And that causes them to keep their money in that bank. And that causes the bank to be able to loan that money and so on and so forth. And that happens for any job. Okay. You have to know the problem you solve. And here's the deal. If you don't know the problem that your job solves for a company, send me a message to coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. I'll explain to you what that problem is. So when you interview, you can talk to a hiring manager about the specific problem that you're solving for them. So now I told you earlier, I was going to tell you 4 things. There are 4 things that every hiring manager cares about. This is They care about some other things, but these are the 4 basic things they care about. And if you know this, if you know these 4 things and you lead with these 4 things, I promise you, you will be getting multiple job offers. Okay. When a hiring manager looks at your resume, there are 4 specific things they want to see. And 99% of resumes do not state this clearly, which is why me and my team of talent acquisition pros for the company that I work for, this is why we send you a rejection letter. Okay? Because I'm not, yes, I'll post my email address. Let me do that real quick. I am not responsible for putting your resume together. You are responsible for putting it together, and you're responsible for presenting that information to me. You are, not me. And I'm gonna see if I can pin this really quickly. Okay, I'm pinning it in the comments. So I pinned my email address in the comments. So if you want to send your resume to me, you could send it to me. I'll review it. And if you want to know the specific job that problem that your job solves, I'll be happy to send you that message as well. Remember, if you want to do a one-on-one with me, you can click the link in my bio. If you want to know all the things that you need to know before you go to an interview, I have a guide in my in my store as well. Just kind of click that. It's just $10. And if you want a resume template, if you want that resume template, all you got to do is click the link in my bio. You can get it. And in less than 1 hour, listen to me, in less than 1 hour, if you get that resume template, in less than one hour, you will have a resume that's better than 99% of people that are out there. Okay. Now, you can choose to go get it from somebody else if you want to. You can go spend $200 to $300 if you want to. That resume template is pretty much fill in the blank. It is $20. The price will be going up in September. So if you get it now, it'd be great. All right, now listen. So what 4 things are hiring managers interested in? These are the 4 things that I tell hiring managers about you whenever I interview you and I'm taking your information to the hiring manager. There are 4 things, specifically 4 things. Obviously, we posted a job and they want to know, well, what kind of work have they been doing? Okay. So have they been doing medical assistant work in a pediatric environment? Have they been doing customer service work at a bank? Have they been doing accounting work at a manufacturing company? That's the first thing they want to know. If you haven't done that kind of work, they're going to X you out. Okay, so number 1, your resume needs to be very clear and speak about the kind of work you do. That's one of the things they care about. What's the second thing they care about? They want to know, where did you do it? Where did you actually do this work at? Okay, where was it? Okay, and when I say where, I'm also talking about what kind of company, right? Is the company that you've come from, is it close to our company? Is it the same industry? Is it the same area? Is it the same kind of thing? So from a talent acquisition perspective, there are essentially two different lanes a person can go down. They can go down the corporate lane, or they can go down the staffing agency lane. So staffing agencies really want recruiters who have staffing agency experience, because you're dealing with multiple clients in multiple different types of positions. So people who have come from the corporate recruiting world sometimes have a hard time breaking into the staffing industry world, and vice versa, because they need different things, right? The corporate world needs a staffing agency person. There's a bit more of a fit, easier fit. They need someone who can work with, 1 or 2 managers, 1 or 2 different types of positions, not multiple. So it's the same thing in your industry, same thing in your area, same thing in your job, right? If it's retail banking, corporate banking, if it's, business banking, whatever it is, it's the same thing. They want to know, what work have you done and where have you been doing it at? Where? Okay, that's what they care about. Okay, if that's a match, then they move on to the next thing. How long have you been doing it? Did you just start last week? last month, last year, or 10 years ago. They want to know, how long have you been doing it? That's the third thing. And this is what I bring to the hiring managers. Okay. And then the fourth thing they want to know, and this is missing on 99% of resumes, and that is, how good are you? Like, how good is this person? How good are they? Okay. And your resume should be able to show that. Because I know these are the four major things that hiring managers are looking for. Whenever I interview a candidate, I ask these questions and I put it in the interview notes so the manager doesn't have to ask these questions of you. They may just be verifying it, but I'm going to tell them, Susie has been working at a bank at a large national retail bank as a drive-through teller for the past 3 years. And she was responsible for processing 350 customers on a daily basis. And her banks were closed with 0 errors, whatever those things are, right? So those are the things that hiring managers care about most. And if you cannot articulate that in an interview, you are probably going to be rejected. So you have to know that. And no one, sadly, nobody is telling you this. No one's giving you this information. I'm going to give you all of the tea, all of it. It's not a threat to my job. Okay? I'm not worried about that. I know that the value that I bring to the organization, I know that the problem that I had when I first started with this company 2 years ago is they couldn't hire anybody. And it took me, they had been in business since 2006 and they had issues with hiring. It took me less than 90 days to fix their problem. And the next year when we were hiring in that same time frame, we needed to hire 50% fewer people. And this year, we needed to hire 50% fewer people this year than last year. So I know how to solve that problem. And I know how to articulate that as well. So, but most people who interview with me, 99%, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, they don't know. They have no earthly idea. And because I understand it, I pull it out of them through my interview questions. I pull it out of them to make sure that they are giving me this information. Why? Because I know what the hiring manager wants to see. And this is everywhere I've ever gone in the past 35 years that I've been doing this. Even when I was doing it in the staffing agency world, it's the exact same thing. I know what the hiring managers want to see, whether they're at a corporation, whether they're at a manufacturing or warehouse facility, whether it's accounting. I don't care what it is. I know exactly what they want to see. And I bring to them these 4 things. This is the work they've been doing. This is where they were doing it at. This is how long they've been doing it. And this is how good this person is. So it will be in your best business interest to hire this person after you interview them. And once your interview is complete, I always go back to the hiring manager within 30 minutes and say, what are you going to do? Do you want to make this person an offer? And they may say, well, Dan, I have another interview. I would like to make an offer after that. And I respond this way. Is this person that you just interviewed better than the person you think you're going to be interviewing? And do you want to stand a chance of losing this person just because you want to wait another 2 days to interview this other person? Right? I put it on the table just like that. Now, sometimes managers will say, well, I want to keep my options open, and that's cool. And some of them will say, you know what, you're right. This person is a perfect fit. So go ahead and cancel that other interview and let this person know we want to make them an offer. And that's how we roll. Michelle says, are referral and letter of recommendation letters still relevant in the hiring market? Okay, so let's talk about that. I'll be brief with you. Every letter of recommendation you send, to somebody, they're going to say positive things about you. So what I tell hiring managers is this: we can do references for you, but all of them are going to be perfect. That's not how you determine whether or not a person is going to be good. So yeah, you can have letters of recommendation, but they're not that weighty. I don't need somebody else to tell me how good you are if the talent acquisition pro or the hiring manager knows what they're doing. I don't need somebody else to tell me that, because the only thing they're going to tell me is you are awesome. And I know that. So what a lot of companies have done, and our company has done this as well, is we've moved the reference process, the recommendation process, the referral process, we move that to the background check tool. Now, referral letters. Now, if it's a referral letter, a letter of recommendation is coming from somebody inside the organization, yeah, you can have them provide that, but it'll be good if that person can go to the hiring manager themselves. And listen to me, because this is important. Only if they have credibility, only if they've been doing a good job, only if they are a top performer, because you don't want a trash employee that's your friend to go make a recommendation of you, because they make a recommendation for you, because that their trash work will be tied to you. Oh, this trash person is recommending this other person. They must be trash like that person is. So be careful of that. Princess Pink Shoes says, can you address how to handle a panel of interviews? Things have changed so much. Yes. In fact, I like panel interviews. I like going in and having 6 or 7 or 8 people sit in front of me and fire questions at me, because I have answers for all of them. Okay. So I tell people, this is my recommendation. You treat panel interviews like it is a single interviewer. Okay. If you have 8 people in a room and each one of them got the opportunity to ask you one question, it's just like one person asking you 8 questions. Okay. Now, the challenge that you have with the panel interview is there are different personalities in the room. And this is hard for anybody to do. I can see, for the most part, in the room who the alpha is. How can you find out who the alpha is or the top dog is in the room without scanning the room, listening to the room, watching? You ask them for their position title. Okay. So if you have a operations manager in there, if you have a frontline supervisor in there, and then you have a vice president in there, and you have a chief operating officer in there, and you have a CEO in there, the CEO is the top dog. Even though the operations manager may be the hiring manager, if the CEO approves, you're probably going to get the job. So you want to focus your attention on the hiring manager and the top dog. Okay. You want to make sure you get it right with them, because that CEO will be asking you questions based on their perspective, where they sit in the organization, and the operations manager will be asking you questions based on where they sit in the organization, just like a line supervisor will be asking you questions about where they, from the perspective of where they sit in the organization. So panel interviews are not scary. Just go in and say, hey, for my own notes, may I know, who everyone is, and what your title is. And you take note of that. Okay. And you focus your attention on the top dog and the hiring manager, whoever that is in the room. So thank you so much for that question. Grace West Payne says, how do I handle an internal interview for a department I have years experience working in? It's for a higher position. Grace, request to come up if you like. I want to ask you a couple of other qualifying questions, but I would like to just get some clarification here. So let me try to answer it if you can't come up. How do you handle an internal interview for a department? Okay, let me tell you what I do. If a hiring man, we typically in our organization, and most organizations should do this, they should go inside out with most positions. Inside out. Inside out means we look internally first to see if we have anybody to fill this position, and then backfill their position with somebody externally, versus going externally to try to fill position and not provide opportunities for somebody that's internal. Okay, so let's say you are inside of an organization. What I'll do is I'll go to a hiring manager, and the hiring manager says, hey, we have this lead medical assistant or this lead multi-site clinic manager position. I'll ask this question. Is there anyone on your team right now that you believe will be a perfect fit for this job? Anybody? And they may say yes. And I'll say, okay, great. Tell that person to apply. And once they apply, I'll call them and set up an interview for you. See, that manager already has in their mind they would like for this person to apply for the position. And that person who they want to apply for the position may not know that the job is becoming available. They also have to interview other people as well. So we will interview those other people, and then I will say to them, tell me, what are you looking for? And if they tell me what they're looking for, I'll ask, this person that you want to slot in this position potentially, do they have these skills? Okay? Because we got to be fair here. You can't just be having that person in that position because you know you want them to, you like them. Okay? So we want to make sure they have the requisite skills. Just, it's fair. It's equitable, right? We want to make sure that there's fair, and everything is done above board. So if it's an internal position, you have to make sure you're in good standing with whoever the hiring manager is. You have to make sure you're in good standing with the manager. If you are leaving another department, you have to make sure you're in good standing. The other thing you need to try to gauge is the manager that I'm leaving and the manager that I will be going to, I mean, are they cool, right? Because that could mess you up as well, okay? And then if you can get a recommendation from a manager that is above your manager, that carries a lot of weight, okay? And then you want to make sure that you have your resume in line. It's good to go. You understand the problem that you need to solve and everything else. And if you don't have that resume, click the link in my bio and get the resume template. Or you can send your resume to me to the email address. I pinned it in the comments. You can send it to me. I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you if it's a good resume or not. And then we kind of go from there. But that's what you want to make sure you do. You want to make sure you're in good standing. You want to make sure that your attendance and everything else is good, that you met whatever KPIs that they've asked you to meet, because you're going to be increasing your responsibility and they want to make sure you can handle that. So it's important that all of these things are in place. I hope that answers the question for you. Hiring managers are looking for those 4 things that I share with you. And the question that I came on today to really answer is, are you overqualified? Are you really overqualified, or is that just an excuse that hiring managers are making? I will tell you that hiring managers are afraid that people are not going to stick around. And that could be for a lot of different reasons, right? Maybe they hired somebody with your experience before and that person didn't stick around. And the way that you have to make sure that you communicate that is you have to let them know that you are a committed, hardworking, loyal person who is ready to come in and make things happen. You are not looking to go somewhere else. You're not looking to jump around. You're not looking to go to another organization. You want to build and grow inside of this organization and help that manager that you're going to be working for go higher inside of the organization. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer the question for you. And I encourage you, if you have an interview that's coming up or you're thinking about changing jobs, go through all of my videos. I am posting interview questions so you can see exactly how you should respond. Most of the responses that I give are very short and to the point because I know what hiring managers want to hear. I've worked with hundreds of hiring managers across the United States, everywhere from Washington State to Washington, D.C., from Florida all the way to Delaware. I know exactly what they want to see because it's been the same way. This has been the same for years. And I have built a system, a talent acquisition system around making sure that the questions that they typically ask, they are being answered. Okay? All right. So you're not necessarily overqualified. What they're thinking to themselves is you are supremely qualified. You haven't communicated that you're loyal. You haven't communicated that you are committed. You haven't communicated that you're not going anywhere. And that has caused me to say, you know what? let's keep searching for somebody else. You know, Princess Pink Shoes says, should you have multiple resumes? I have corporate admin, hospital, and customer service experience. How do I package it? Okay, first of all, Princess, if you don't get this resume template, you are making a big mistake. Okay, because when I look at what you just shared with me, you have admin experience, hospital experience, and customer service experience. Okay, so the hospital experience could be nursing, could be, I don't know exactly what it is, but it is customer care, caring for clients, for patients. Admin experience is caring for the admin work of someone you're doing the admin work for. So all of those things are comprehensive, right? So instead of saying corporate admin, you have administrative experience, customer service experience, and hospital experience. Okay, leave in the comments, and I want to get more specific with you. What did you do in the hospital? What was the job? Because the admin work and the customer service work is closely related. That's easy to package, right? So let's see what you did in a hospital setting. Were you a nurse? Were you a person who was responsible for taking in patients? Were you doing insurance verification? Like, what were you doing in a hospital? Were you a nurse's assistant? Did you work in surgery or ER? I mean, what did you do? That will help me to understand exactly how you should package it. And if you get the resume template, I'll show you how to position all of those skills to make it look like one giant, amazing skill if you get that resume template. And I'll make sure that happens for you. So, and a lot of people have challenges with that, right? They have challenges trying to communicate all of the different skills they have, and how to make it all make sense. I was on a live with a guy from Liberia the other day. I don't know if you guys saw this live, and he moved to Eastern Europe. He's an engineer. He has 3 master's degrees. I asked him a pretty straightforward question. I was like, well, you're pretty proud of these degrees. Why are you leading with those 3 degrees? Now, you would think that having 3 master's degrees in engineering would mean he should be getting a job pretty quickly, but he wasn't. And so I dug a little deeper. I was digging just a little bit deeper. Okay, so how long have you been in Eastern Europe? Where did you do engineering at? He told me all of those things. And then I asked him, are you currently working? No, he's not working. When was the last time you worked? It was 2020. So after gathering all of that information, I gave him a picture of what this really looked like. Number 1, you are an engineer with 3 degrees, and that's cool, but nobody cares about that. Now, I'm not saying nobody cares about your degree. Continue to listen to me. Stick with me here. I said you did the engineering work in Liberia, but now you're in Eastern Europe. So the people in Eastern Europe, they don't care anything about the engineering work you did in Liberia because they think it's 2 different worlds, 2 different things. So they're seeing you as someone who has no engineering experience. Okay? So you're going to have to figure out a way to get your foot in the door so you can sit in front of a hiring manager, so you can have a conversation about all of the good things that you can do and have done and have learned as an engineer in Liberia that transfers over to work in Eastern Europe. You can't be so high and mighty and try to be so highfalutin that you are not willing to get your foot in the door to have that conversation. These are all of the nuances, the things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. So Princess Pink Shoe says, in the hospital, you were an auditor in the finance department, follow up on insurance claims. So that is an admin and accounting position. So what I would say is you have admin, accounting, and customer service experience. Those are the 3 things that you have: admin, accounting and finance, and customer service experience. The insurance claims and insurance verification, that's in accounting. The accounting, obviously, position, auditing in the finance department. I would imagine you were auditing files, auditing to make sure that the bills that what the hospital was billing was correct. Okay. And then insurance claims, you were following up with them to make sure that the insurance company is going to be paying those bills for those customers that you guys saw. All of that is admin work, all of that. So you are an expert admin / customer service pro. When you do the resume template, you will see how I have you positioned at, right? So what kind of jobs should you be looking at? Now watch this, Princess. I want you to listen to me. That skill transfers across multiple industries. Admin, customer service expert could be in the hospital industry, hospitality industry, warehouse industry, manufacturing industry. It could be in the medical field. It could be a lot of different things, because the common thing for your skill is everybody has accounting, admin, and customer service problems they need to have within their organization. You are an expert, if you will, in all three. I don't know exactly how much experience you have, but you can list yourself as an expert, excellent in all three of those things, which means that you can apply to multiple positions at multiple companies in multiple cities to get the job that you want. So that's how I would evaluate your skill and your talent. Okay. If you have a question, 30 years of experience, right? So you need to condense it down to you are an admin, customer service admin, accounting pro. Okay. That's where you need to position yourself as that. And that transfers across multiple different industries. It doesn't matter. Okay. We have about 8 more minutes on this live. If you have a question to ask or you want to join me live, you can click the button below and join me live. If you want me to take a look at your resume to see if your resume is awesome, send me an email to coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. It's pinned in the comments. If you really want to revamp your resume, and how do you know you need to revamp your resume? No one is calling you back. You're applying to jobs and no one is calling you back. You're welcome, Princess. No one is calling you back. You probably need to take a look at getting that resume template, the winning resume template, just by clicking the link in my bio. If you are really perplexed and not understanding which direction you want to go in your career, I can help you in less than 30 minutes in a one-on-one call. Anybody, I don't care who you are, I can tell you exactly what you need to do. I had a guy last night on live. He was all over the place. And I said, sir, the biggest problem that you have is you are good in a bunch of different areas, but you're not an expert in just one area. And I told him, if you want to have success as a 65-year-old man, I think that's how old he was, you're going to have to focus your attention on one thing and one thing only, no more than 2, just 1 or 2 things only. I know you're good at all these things, but you need to specialize in one thing, be the expert of that one thing, and you'll have offers coming your way all day long. Okay? So here's the deal. If this content was helpful to you in any way, I'm going to ask you to support it. Click the link in my bio, send a Cash App. I would appreciate it. I don't care what the amount is. If you need help with understanding how to prepare yourself for an interview, get yourself together so that you can walk into an interview like Miss Chocolate did today and command the room. You need to get to what you need to know before you go guide. That's up there. It's $10, easy, right? If you need more in-depth information about which direction you need to go in your career, you can click the link in my bio and schedule a one-on-one with me. It's a 30-minute call, and I will solve all of your problems for the most part in 30 minutes. We get right down to it. I ask you some very specific questions, and then we go from there. Okay? So Michelle says, great class, coach. Thank you so much for sharing. You are so welcome. I'm passionate about helping you guys win. That's why I do this, because no one is going to tell you why they are rejecting you. No one is going to tell you why they are not giving you jobs. No one is going to tell you that. They are just going to send you the rejection letter, and then you're out there wondering, well, my goodness, I thought it was a great interview. And they're not telling you why, right? It could be because they just didn't like your personality. We talk about that. Go through my videos. You will see how to overcome that, right? Nobody's going to tell you. Whenever a person, and by the way, 8 out of 10 people that I recommend, 8 out of 10 people that I recommend to a hiring manager, they get hired in our organization. 8. The other 2 said something in an interview that they didn't say to me. Those other 2 people blew it. But I try to prep candidates to understand how the process works and what things they need to be talking about before they go into the interview with the hiring manager. And 8 out of every 10 people who interview with the hiring manager gets an offer. Okay? That's a standard on my team. A standard. My team is responsible for 80% offer rates. That's a KPI. And the reason we're able to do that is because we understand exactly what the hiring manager wants. We understand what you want as a candidate, and we educate you before you walk into that meeting and put your foot in your mouth. We let you know exactly what the deal is. Thank you in advance for your support. For all of you who are sending me an email, I will get to your resumes today to take a look at those resumes. I've pinned it in my email in the comments, coachdanielsmiley@gmail.com. And if you've purchased something, I am in the Central Standard Time Zone. That's where I'm at. Thanks for asking that question, Son Michelle. If you need additional help, you need additional support, you have a question for me, you can message me on Instagram. You can message me via my email directly. You can DM me. I will be happy to answer your question directly. I'm going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. If you want to watch this replay, you can watch it again on the YouTube. Just go to my YouTube channel, The Daniel Smiley, to get all of this over again. Share that YouTube with your friends and family members. And thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned to my Instagram. I will let you know when I'm going live again. It will probably be in the next day or 2. I may even go live tonight. I want to help as many people as I can. And I will talk to you guys soon. God bless you. Take care.